Okay, let's get started. So I see at least more than half easily are on now, and still people are joining. But I'm very conscious of everybody's time. I know you guys are taking time out of your schedule, and I don't want to fill it up uh, with uh, with just some small talk, so to speak. So, okay, there's about 40 people here. Okay, all right, we're going to go. So let's get started. I want to first let me share my screen again. I'm going to show you a presentation that I put together. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. All right. Let's go. Here we go. So, you can probably move that window of me out of the way. So, again, thank you very much for joining us for this talk. My name is Chris Yerbey. I am the founder and CEO of Tradefox. Actually, the company is called Scrap Connection still, and many of you will know us from those days because we've been working on this, as I said, for 8 years, but about 2.5 years ago, we changed our name to Tradefox. Corporate name is still Scrap Connection for now, but we have we've changed more towards a business intelligence product, and we dropped our aspirations to solve the problems that we're trying to solve, which through a marketplace. Essentially, the goal has always been the same since day one. How can we use technology in order to help people do business in a more safe manner? And everything that I've done for the last 10 years has been 100% focused on that goal and that goal alone. We've tried a lot of things, and just like any tech company, you try things. You try some things, and most things don't work out like you expect. A few things do. You double down and you keep going. After 10 years in this and a couple $1 million in funding, I can say that things have really been taking off lately, and I'm really happy to say that. But I want to share with you what my predictions and the way I see the future of trade going forward in our sector. So here's my background. I think it's important to understand that I've been in the recycling industry since 1997. I started out as a consultant working for factories that basically I managed their waste expenses and tried to find ways to cut costs. In doing so, I made the most, earned the most money basically off of implementing recycling programs. So essentially, I went into as a consultant in the waste industry out of college, but I ended up in the recycling industry in the end. Along the way, I took a small little detour. I started a tech company, which I started up with 2 other guys. It was unrelated completely to our industry, except for the fact that it was trucking, which we have trucking in our industry, but nothing around recycling. Built that company up. I learned a lot at that point about what you can do with technology, with web tech. I was really amazed by all the possibilities and how much value you could create. So that gave me kind of this background in tech. Went back into my core business, went into importing, exporting recyclables. Specifically started a company called DYNDIS with my partner at the time, and now partner still today, Ashwani Dutt from Panipat, India. And we worked on shipping ferrous scrap from US and other into Taiwan, India, South Korea, Pakistan. So that's a little bit about me. That's kind of my background. We've been doing this, as I mentioned, for 10 years, and we are definitely a business intelligence company now. So a little bit more about us. We are a team of 14 people now. We have 4 people based right here at our headquarters in Amsterdam. We have 5 that are working on our tech development team, which is in Sarajevo. And in India, we have 5 people that are working for us, and that side of the employee count is growing quite rapidly in India. Our guys in India, guys and girls in India, they work with the data side of things. They're the ones that are either helping to match trades with profiles and doing all the very detailed stuff, or they're working with business development. And you may have spoken with Amarjit or Vishal. They're with our business development team. We also have an asset recovery team that Shwani Dutt is setting up there. Our core product is this database of companies that we have, company reports. So our goal is to try to have essentially every company that either buys, sells, or brokers Recyclables, we want to have them in our system. We want to have all the information that we can find from every source that we can find so that we can create an assessment on the reliability and trustworthiness of that company. So that's our core business. We've grown quite rapidly, especially as of the last 2 or 3 years. We have partnerships with credit reporting agencies, shipping companies. We get a lot of MPEX data from shipping companies. In fact, we're now up to 2.5 million trades in our platform, and that's actually just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, and these are all only trades of people that deal in recyclables. So there's many more trades that still are yet to be put into our system. And we're 3,800. I think we're actually more like 3,900 plus members strong right now, and that's our greatest value and asset in our company are our members, because members provide us the data that we need to help everybody in the platform protect themselves from risk. So our core product is our reputation reports, asset recovery. It's a new department that Ashwani is setting up, and we help companies recover from losses from unfair trades. So that's a new thing we're setting up. Virtual conferences, now we're going to be doing this as often as possible because it's all about putting people together. So we are going to be doing virtual conferences, but it's not a profit center for us. It's more part of what we're doing to try to help the industry out in the times of COVID. So let's talk about, so we want to talk about the future, right? So I want to talk about, if you want to talk about what is technology going to do in order to make our lives better, right? We have to ask what's wrong with our lives at first. You have to think about what are the problems that we are experiencing in this industry. And then you can start to understand the tech that will be developed and is being developed. And I have both. I want to go through the supply chain, and I want to talk about the problems first, and then we'll go into the solutions. And I'll show you how several tech solutions are all converging at one time to actually create this kind of solution for everyone. So this is our supply chain, and this is an example from the metal side of the business. So it's slightly different for plastics and paper. But in metals, you have demolition companies, you have factories, and you have the general public that are constantly bringing in scrap. They normally bring them into yards that are near them, and those yards, if that material is going to be bound for export, they will end up in a larger yard, which is more of a consolidator, but also, of course, by their own right, they have all material coming from factories as well. The material is processed, sorted, and put into various grades. Typically, sometimes these larger yards deal directly with the factory, but for the most part, everything moves through people that are, we call them, traders or brokers, but by our definition, a trader is a company that takes possession of the material and resells it. Broker is the one connecting the dots between the two reputable companies and taking care of a lot of the problems and headaches. Honestly, what the traders and brokers are the people that actually make it all fit together on the global market. If it weren't for those guys, I think the market would have serious friction just in trying for people to be able to find each other across the world. So that's our supply chain. Now, these are the risks that I see that we're facing. I'm going to just go from left to right. Acts of nature, lost shipments, failure to pay, and this can be like where a buyer becomes insolvent and can't pay. These first two items right here are insurable, right? So we never really think about the acts of nature, lost shipments, things that happen, because we have insurance for these types of things. Almost everybody does. Many people that do take a risk on the finance side purchase insurance for that, but not every company is insurable. We all are quite aware of that. But at least there is a partial solution right there. Quality manipulation is a big problem, that's kind of a bit of, it could be even a discussion for another day, but I will say that I do believe that the current way that things operate incentivize companies to manipulate quality in order to make market prices work. And just essentially, it goes like this: you have one person in a region that's cheating, then they're able to buy the raw material at a lower price. It puts so much pressure on the other guys that are trying to operate with integrity, because they can't cover the additional costs of doing things the right way and competing against the person that's cheating. Quality manipulation is encouraged in that way, in a vicious cycle. This is one of the things that I see that's changing now, but it's a big problem because, yeah, it always ends up on the buyer's floor, and it's their problem to deal with. Cancellation of agreements. Well, if anybody's been in the business for more than, I don't know, a year, I think that would be enough to have had at least cancellations of a verbal commitment or people backing out of their verbal commitments. But I mean, we've seen, and I was a trader for 6 years. I mean, we've lost so much. Traders really get stuck in the bind for these cancellations because they're the ones fully stuck needing to buy the raw material from another source at a higher price in order to supply demand for a supplier that runs away. So cancellation of agreements is a very big risk, and it's the funny thing about that is it never really shows up. Nobody keeps a track of this, I think, on their balance or their profit and loss statements as a separate category. It's just you didn't make enough money, you lost 20,000 on this deal, and where you wanted to make 60. Okay, that is what it is. Move on, right? So that's a big problem. That's a big risk of financial loss. And then we have the flip side of quality manipulation. We have the abuse of the claims process. And this is where obviously we deal in waste, but at the end of the day, I know everybody here probably loves their scrap, and but it is garbage, actually, right? Sorry. But it is refined garbage. It's the top quality. I know suppliers, it's the top quality, but things happen in shipment, things happen at yards, when loadings happen. There's all kinds of reasons why you can have a claim. The most important thing, and we've noticed that about 1 out of every 5 deals has a claim. So claims are part of the business. They're not going away. All right. When the market goes down, and I'll say that eye is in the beauty of the beholder, right? You do have situations where a buyer that is looking at this material that they bought for $270 a ton, and now it's dropped to $250 a ton, the pricing, and 4 weeks later, and now it's arrived, and they're looking at their scrap, which they bought paid too much for, and they're going to find problems sometimes, and the flip side of that coin is, unfortunately, if it works out to be material that's much better than they expected, they don't give money back to the supplier. But this is the nature of the business, and I think everybody understands that and accepts it. And any legitimate, or I say trustworthy, reliable supplier wants to preserve that relationship. Trading company, same story. If the claim is fair and good and backed by good evidence, that it's paid and that thing is settled, and you move on to the next deal. The abuse of the claims process is a big problem, and unfortunately, I know a lot of people that work on the receiving side, working in India, Pakistan. I've got many friends, that run factories, and I know lots of very honest people. But I mean, unfortunately, there are times or situations where a claim, when you actually get down and do the research and you look at the evidence, it's exaggerated by a factor of 2 or 3. And that happens, and it's a big problem. So it's a huge risk. It's a problem for the trader, the broker stuck in the middle. It's a huge headache for everybody, the supplier, big problem. Okay, so last one is fraud. And I call this the beast because it's kind of like the boogeyman or some type of like scary creature that's lurking somewhere in the shadows, and you never know when you're going to see them, when they're going to rear their ugly face again. And you do everything you can to protect yourself from it. And unfortunately, when this beast arrives, it's too late. You're losing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. I know people that have lost in excess of $1 million just in 1 year. Ourselves, I'll give you an example from our history at DYNDIS. We lost in one transaction. The total transaction value was $750,000. We lost $150,000 in one deal. The background of that at a high level, it was a company that it was a person that we met through another trusted associate. We went down and visited this person. I saw them at least on 3 occasions, either in Atlanta where I was or down in Miami where he was. We've seen his yard, we've seen his equipment. We checked everything out. It all looked legit. He shipped a great shipment, number one. Ship number 2 looked a little bit like there might be some issues with it, but by that time we were hoping that would be sorted. We had already started 2 larger transactions, and but then one of the wisest men that I know in the scrap business said, wherever there's a fraud, there's always one greedy person and one clever person. And I guess, I hate to say it, but we thought we found a way to make a really nice bit of money on deal number 3 and 4. And in fact, it shipped out and everything seemed to be rolling forward. So it looked good until the point in time when the last like 20% of the material was supposed to be delivered. The guy says to me, Chris, I don't have the money. I don't have it. There's nothing I can do. I can't ship anything else. I'm no longer in business, yada, yada, yada. I found out his house wasn't owned by himself. The nice one on the golf course where I went to play golf with him, I met his wife, had dinner with him. I mean, man, I tell you what, fraud is a horrible thing. And everybody, and what I learned also very importantly, every one of you guys, if you've been at least 5 years in this business, you've dealt with some type of fraudulent type activity. And people that have been in the industry for longer, I mean, I've heard story after story after story. It's almost like it's part of the territory. If you've got experience in this business, you've been burned. Bottom line, it might have been a slight burn, or it might have been a huge burn. You might have lost, tens of thousands, or you could have lost hundreds of thousands. But money goes out the door. And in fact, we surveyed our, I think there was 190 different people a few years ago, and we were specifically looking at the import side, and we asked them, how much money are you guys losing on average every year? And the shocking number, which is incredible, one of the reasons why I got into this whole thing to begin with was because the losses are 1% of all imports. 1%, that's a huge number, it's massive. And every year you have a small little problem here and there. Somebody gets one over and you lose, 20K, 30K. You walk away. You don't work. You deal with it. But every once in a while you lose big, and on an average, it's 1%. So that was a shocker for me. So the question now I want to ask everyone, and I'm going to answer the question obviously, but I want you guys to think about out of all these parties right here, who loses the most money? And I think I pretty well said it, but it's the buyers, right? The buyers are the ones that are exposed to the risk. And this is a problem for suppliers. So guys, if you're supplying scrap and you think you're isolated from this risk, you're paying for it. Okay, because this risk is real, and these factories, the importers, these traders, they're losing money. When you lose money, you've got to self-insure because there's no insurance available for these things. You got to raise your prices. And that's the way that suppliers in the end are paying for the losses of a few unscrupulous people that are making a mess for everybody. So let's talk about the technologies of the trade. And I want you to think about it. Think about this. I mean, let's talk about what's been there, and then I'm going to talk about what's new, right? The oldest one probably is the technology, is shipping, right? I mean, that's the movement of goods from one place to the other. It's not quite what we consider it's not computer technology, but it's technology. Market pricing, it's also been around for a very long time. Before computers were a thing, market pricing has been there. In fact, here in Amsterdam, there was a system of here was in Amsterdam was the first stock market, and it was built around commodities. And so you would basically buy shares in a ship that was going to Indonesia and coming back. And when your ship came in, you wanted to you would have stock basically in it. And so there was trading continuously of the stock of the paper. And you had people that would run out to the shore, and they'd see a ship coming in, and they would run back and inform a few people. First instance of insider trading as well. But market pricing, the value of something, it's been around for ages, right? It's super important in our business. And not only what is the price, the fair price, but where's the market going? That's hugely important, right? So we've got all the great companies that like Platts, and American Metal Market, Davis Index is the newcomer on the industry, but a lot of people that are covering that. News, you need to know, like that guy running down to find out when the ship was coming in, you need the most up-to-date news information. We all have access and follow news. Finance is the way we pay for goods. Banking industry allows us to take bigger risk and take larger orders. Insurance companies insure the risk for the most part. And then last but not least, credit reporting agencies have been around for 100 years. So all these technologies are not new, but we use them. We use all of them from one time, from one time to another. But the advances are coming here in these four areas. I'm going to start at bottom right, company trading information, the reputation repository. That's what we do. And we're Tradefox, but we're not going to be the last. And but we are the first to do this, but we will not be the last. So the companies in this business exist, and we're one of them. In fact, we're the one for now. Then what's interesting about the insurance, the price hedging, and the market pricing is that there are a few pieces missing that's still been yet to be covered. If I want to talk about the insurance side of things, bad trading behavior. So these are things like canceled contracts, all things that we went over earlier that are not covered by insurance. That's the current state of affairs. They are not covered by insurance, right? That piece is missing. All the other risk is there, but that's missing. In the price hedging world, I come from the ferrous scrap side of things. As I said, what's missing? Ferrous scrap. Why is it missing? It's only until recently do we have really a reliable ferrous pricing, and it's still a growing, a very new thing, right? So the advances are coming here, right? So you have, looking at the market pricing side, you got Davis Index, a fastly growing company that's doing really well. They're covering ferrous scrap prices in multiple markets around the world. And I have a very good friend of mine who's also been kind of a mentor of mine as well. His name is Humayun Sheikh from Metallis. You may know him, and he is going to be launching what I believe will be the first successful ferrous scrap hedging market. He and I spoke about this 5 years ago. I've heard all about his plans for this. It's been a long time in the making. But he is setting this up. So that means that you're going to remove, you can hedge finally ferrous scrap, which is phenomenal because ferrous scrap is very volatile. And the non-ferrous side, you're fortunate to be able to lock in your price. But in ferrous, people are really exposed to these risks. And these risks also cause people to do things that are unethical. And this is an issue. So what's coming? Better market pricing ferrous is here, and it's growing quickly. Price hedging, it's coming like right around the corner. You're going to be able to hedge on a ferrous scrap for the first time. Insurance, well, this is our thing. This is what we're working on. It's our end goal. We want to take away the risk of all those unfair trading practices that we talked about before, the things that are not insurable. You can't insure for fraud. You can't insure for canceled contracts. You can't insure for uncollectible quality claims. You cannot insure for many different things. It's also difficult to get insurance on upfront money. And the reason is because it's about the company's trading behavior. It has nothing to do with their credit report, right? Credit reports have tons of information. Companies like ours will be reporting on the credibility of companies. And companies like ours will be working and forming alliances with insurance companies. And we're working on this. This is coming as well. So we're partnering up with one of the top three commercial credit insurance companies in the world. We're working to try within the next 2 to 3 years. We want to be there. We want to have a situation there where the risk is gone. Now let's talk about what that does, what the benefits of this, and what this looks like. All right, this is what the future, and this is happening fast. All this stuff is coming at you rapidly. It's all going to be changing, and in the next 5 years, all the things I've described are going to be here, and we're going to be using them. What does it mean to everybody? Well, a trader or broker is going to be moving more towards the job of like a day trader. Now, don't get me wrong, I do understand that we, again, as I said in the beginning, we go and waste material. You're always going to have claims and problems and those headaches. I don't know how to solve those. That's not my wheelhouse. But I can say that when you don't have to fly around the world and constantly meet people in order to do business, when the relationships of that check become less important, it's more about just doing business with people that you like. But You can also just, develop a relationship over, over Zoom calls nowadays, right? I can see traders and brokers are going to be able to spend more time with their families and friends and travel less. And I think it's even more important than ever, right, that these things are coming because of what we're dealing with the COVID situation, right? You can't travel very readily, and it's also a bit risky. The consumer side of things, right? The fear of loss is going to be eliminated. All right, what does that mean? Like, what if you are an importer, or if you are, I'll use importer as the best example, and you know that you have insurance to cover you against all of the risks that we mentioned earlier. You're not going to be self-insuring anymore, for one thing, right? And those funds move over to the guys, the producers, by the way, which are down the stream towards the production side, because the value of the finished good is for the consumers are making, the scrap consumers are making some finished product, that's anchored. So these guys, consumers go buy insurance, they're going to cover these risks. It's going to result in more money flowing over to producers, and it gives them more time to focus on their business, less stress. They can grow their business, focus on the other things, the other problems in your business, and not about trying to chase down this guy that cheated you, flying around the world to try to find this person, suing. There's a lot of negative energy. Imagine a life where that's all gone, and that's what's right around the corner. And last but not least, the producers, the scrap producers, and by this I mean scrap yards, processors, they're going to get higher prices, and they will finally be able to pay for the cost of operating a company that ships only high quality scrap and it operates with integrity. It costs money in this business to operate with integrity. These guys are going to finally have the additional money that they need to do business in a better way, which takes the pressure off to play around with quality, which is great for everybody, right? So we're moving towards a world where essentially producers, traders, and brokers, you're going to be able to, there's a marketplace that's in development. I'm not going to mention the name of that marketplace, but that piece will pop in pretty soon, I believe, as well. And then you have an ability for traders and brokers to kind of more manage their customer relationships, or they just maintain the ones they have. But we're going to a point, click, and ship, point, click, and purchase world. Bottom line, this is where we're going. We're going to go to a world where we don't have as much stress doing our jobs. We're going to go to going towards a world where the fear of loss of your hard-earned money is gone. And it's just literally right around the corner, All the companies that I'm seeing that are in this space, including ours, I mean, we've like in the last year, things have certainly drastically exploded for us. So I see this happening, Davis Index. I know it's happening in other companies as well. So it's all coming. And so our lives are going to become a little bit easier, a little bit less stressful. That's the good news, right? So that's what we can expect out of the future of the digitalization of trade. So I want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen to this presentation. It's very important it's my passion that we try to solve these problems, and we've been working hard on it, and we continue to work on it. So we love to have your support. If everybody here in this presentation is a Tradefox member, you've all been granted a full access $195 a month plan for 30 days. Use it. We're gonna after the conference, we're gonna help you, learn how to take the most advantage of it. We're happy to have you, and thank you very much, really, for attending the conference. This means 150 people plus is amazing turnout for the first time around. So I'm going to now switch back over to open up for questions. Let's see here. All right, if you will, at the bottom, there's a button that should say raise hand. Try to have your camera on if you can. And I'm going to go down and find the ones that have a question. I'm going to share the screen with you. You'll be on the screen as well. Let me just flip down here and find, let's see. Okay, I saw some hands up, but I'm not finding that right now. So let's see, I see something in the Q&A. Let me take a look at that. Okay, this is from Vivek Dutta. He says, hi, Chris. How can a trader broker get involved to sell material from producer to an end user when you know producers directly selling to end users? What's the winning strategy that can be used? Well, that's an interesting question. I think that what I've noticed in my career is that there are very few, there are many, so the number of yards that deal directly with end user is way more outnumbers, the ones that deal direct are less than the ones that deal through traders and brokers. That's because what do we do as traders and brokers? I mean, we take care of headaches, right? We provide a lot of value in connecting supply and demand. We stay on top of the market. We know immediately where the new demand pops up. We have that information, and if you're running a scrapyard in Georgia, you might not know that the price changed today in India, and it's up in one market. That you might be 4 or 5 days before they get that information. So as more, I think the lure of trying to be direct is enticing because both sides feel like we're more in control of our own risk, etc. But I will say that I don't think that the roles that are solved by traders and brokers are ever going to be needed. I think that to answer your question, I think the winning strategy is just basically be in touch with those guys that are dealing with with end users, create a relationship with them, offer them the best pricing you can to get your foot in the door. And before you know it, people do business with people that they like. That's the bottom line. So that would be my advice there. Okay, I saw some more hands up. I don't see any. So if there are any more questions, please click the button that says raise hand. And if not, then we'll wrap it up. I'll tell you, just as an alternative, if you have raised your hand and maybe there's something that I'm not seeing on my end, would you pop open the Q&A section there and just put your question in, and we'll answer it from there. Okay, all right. I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to wrap it up, folks. Let me give you a couple of. So at the beginning of the call, there were about 15 people or so that were on. I'll use a little bit of time now. Now I see a hand up. Just a moment. After we finish the Q&A session, if you guys want to bow out, that already have seen the tips on how to make the most of the conference. Go ahead and do that. We do have a little bit more time, so what I will do is I will show anybody that's interested how some tips on how to make the most out of the conference at the end. So I see Vishal has his hand up here, so let me put him on here. So Vishal, can you hear me? All right, looks like you have your mic on mute, so if you can unmute your mic. Okay, it seems maybe Vishal is having some technical problems with his microphone, so I think what we can do here, Vishal, why don't you do this? Why don't you leave your question in the Q&A section at the bottom, and I will move on because we have quite a number of people that are actually watching this. So I'll move on to tips for now, and any questions that pop up, just let me know. So let's see here. One second. Interesting. Okay. All right. I think I have. Okay. Hopefully you just I don't know what you're seeing on your end. I was still seeing the shawl, his image there. Okay. Another question here. Let's try this one more. This is Ashish Razdan. Ashish, be sure you got your microphone on. Looks like you do. I'm gonna add you now.
Thank you.
Hi, Ashish. How are you?
Good, thank you, and you?
Good. Doing well, thanks.
Great.
Please tell me, what can I answer for you? What was your question?
See, my question was, I mean, I went through the presentation which you gave, and I'm really thankful to you. But at the same time, I think if, there's because I belong to the inspection industry and, primarily, so I would, probably want to stress that if the buyers really think then there is a pre-shipment inspection which can be carried out, at the time of loading containers, which actually covers up one part of the risk which the buyer is taking eventually, which he realizes probably once the container reaches the site. So, I mean, that can be one important factor which really can help, towards a secure trade. I mean, not 100%, but yes, definitely would help.
Okay. I mean, it was a little difficult to catch you there, but I'm going to tell you what I think I heard, because the mic quality, you might want to actually move a little closer to the mic. What I heard you say there was that you were talking about the problems with quality, basically, that buyers end up having to deal with, where there's, if I understood you correctly, poor quality material that's loaded in good. Is that correct?
Yes, quality is one, but on and whole, the security of the deal, because there have been a lot of reported cases, wherein the material hasn't reached at all. For example, from, someone, who poses to be a seller, but then eventually, because it's an overseas trade, so the buyer eventually has no, way to confirm. Like, you guys have a Tradefox rating, which I was going through yesterday. So that's one very important, a feature of the Tradefox, which I really like, because for the buyers, it really helps to, understand that whether the company has been trading, not trading, or what the other feels about them.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you very much, for that comment. This is what it's all about for us, and plain and simple. And one message that I've been trying for so long to get out to everyone in this industry is that the buyers, as I described in this, the buyers are facing huge risks. I mean, it's a lot of money that is lost. And my $150,000 story, it would shock a lot of people, but it's not going to shock anybody on this call, right? I mean, these things happen, and money gets, you deal with a supplier, and the guy turns out he's not even genuine. You don't even know who's who. There's a lot of noise also that costs time and frustration. So these problems, and especially the quality issue, which is so costly, this is a problem for suppliers. And I think it's very important that everybody take ownership and understand that our industry suffers from a lack of transparency and the reputations of companies around the world, but at a time when all this information is available, right? So the last piece of the puzzle for us, and we're still from, like I said, we're the first at this, but there'll be others. We're as quickly as possible trying to get more and more information in our system so people can feel more secure and safe about who they're trading with. We're going as fast as we can to get that. But this is the one thing that we need from you guys. Okay, this is if everybody can do one thing to help us out, is to go and answer the surveys that we have on companies. Look at your own profile. Look at the trades that we have on you. If we have trades on your company, please rate the counterparty. All this information can be held confidential. You can choose to make it public or not. All trust review feedback is completely confidential. All trade reviews is optional. It's up to you. But this is the information that we need. Some people are reluctant, and fair enough, I get it. You know, they say, I don't want to, I'll tell you about my bad guys, but I don't want to tell you about my good suppliers, my good buyers, you know, and I get it. I mean, you know, but the thing is, enough people are seeing the big picture now. And this is what I mean by the rapid uptake. I mean, we've gotten 2,000 pieces of feedback just in the last 2 months, for example. So we're getting there. So thank you for your comment there.
Right. Thank you very much.
I see one more person here that's joined. I'm trying to figure out to make sure that you're not on mute. No, you're good. Did you have a question, sir?
Yes, this is Sunil Mardia here. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you very clearly. Thanks.
Okay, great. So I just want to know, when you say digitization of the trade, what exactly you mean? You know, when you, I mean, are you talking of what exactly? Are you talking of any software or any supplies that you will be giving us, some software, some SaaS made model, or some blockchain made kind of software? What exactly are you talking about?
Yeah,
Digitization
okay,
of the trade, we understand the benefits and everything. Yeah, but if you can be more specific, yeah.
How do you
Thanks.
do that?
Go ahead,
How does it work? Yeah. So, you know, when I started our Scrap Connection, it was a marketplace with a gated community. Basically, we're trying to do business that way. There were lots of problems with that business model, so we moved into this way that we're doing it now. And, you know, but back in the days when I was dreaming big, I thought, wow, you know, maybe we could just do all these things and we're going to help the industry, you know, solve all these problems, and we'll be that service. But what has instead developed are interesting partnership, even possibilities where we can do one thing that we do well and not try to do everything, and other companies do their part as well. And then by combinations of different products and services, hopefully you'll be able to access things through us like soon, like pricing and hedging for sure is coming through our platform as well. Reputation information that lets you know who you're dealing with. We're working on insurance as well. So that's all delivered you know, through our platform. Right now, just the reputation information is there. But as we are forming these partnerships with other companies, also shipping, which somehow it slipped out of my mind to mention that there's a lot of innovation going on in shipping. We have 2 speakers even about that. So I think you're going to see that the solution's coming from multiple different parties. And it's going to be a collaboration. It's kind of what I was trying to describe there, that you'll have solid pricing, great hedging opportunities, insurance, reputation information. We're certainly going to try to make it accessible all through our platform. And we'll also want to make our service accessible through another platform as well. So I think you'll have 1 or 2 SaaS products that you use. Eventually, they're going to solve all your problems, and you'll have access to probably other companies' products through that platform. That's how I think this is the way it seems to be shaping up.
So just one, is it something like tradecloud.com? There is one company which is operating on blockchain, tradecloud.com. Is that what you're trying to achieve in the long run? That you also would be providing some software model like that, or no?
So the answer to the question is no, that is not what we're trying to do. But I do know the people at TradeCloud, and I'm very interested in Tradefox working with TradeCloud because in any kind of marketplace product, and there have been a few that have come and gone, but there's a couple that are in the works. And we're talking to them about joining up with where in that marketplace environment where all the other cool stuff, you know, technology is. You can also have immediate access to the details about the company's reputation, how they trade, what their suppliers say about them, what their buyers say, all that, integrated into their platform. So that would be the way. I think it's better. What I've decided, and this is a business strategy move. I think, you know, if we band together the people that are all working in similar spaces, and we just focus on what we're good at. Let the people that do pricing. That's a different model. Let these guys at TradeCloud, they do marketplaces. You know, I'm not going to open a marketplace. I don't want to compete. I want to work with these guys, right? So I think that's where it's going. But we are going to be more. You can think of us as the reputation side, and also ultimately insurance. That's going to be our wheelhouse. Getting the risk out. That's going to be us, and that's what we're going to be doing. And we'll try to provide access to other things to help you, such as hedging. That's for sure coming to us. But yeah, that's right. TradeCloud is a very interesting what they're doing. I've been following them, and I'm very interested to see where that goes.
Thank you. I will take it up separately on email. Yeah, maybe we can talk tomorrow. We can talk on email. Thank you so much. Take care.
Sure. All right. Sounds wonderful. Bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Okay, I have about 10 minutes left. So what I was going to do, I'm going to go through just real quick. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to give you a few tips just last minute here so you'll be able to get the most out of this conference. Let's see, let me share my screen. Let's see here. All right. Now, let me, I need to, sorry, I need to minimize this here. Let's go back. Let's go to the website here. So I'm logged in. So everybody is also logged in just like this. We're on the conference tab. What I want you to think about, the way to make the most benefit of this is, again, we are trying really to push everybody together to meet. This is what it's all about. You go to a conference, and we've surveyed many people before we decided to go this route. And we said, what is the number one thing that you would want to achieve at a conference? And consistently, it's new business contacts. So that's what we're trying to do here. So I appreciate everyone listening to my keynote. There's several other very informative keynotes. That's great. We have roundtable discussions. I find this is where it really starts to get interesting, because you get in smaller groups where people can get to know each other. And what I want to point out to you, well, let's look at Danny's here. We need to make some more seats available. His is full. But when you go into this, first of all, you need to know that the roundtables are hosted right here in this spot. So you'll come here, and when the session is live, you'll have a link right here, and then a window will pop up in the middle. All these participants will be sitting in a kind of a Zoom call type environment, but it's embedded in our platform. But this is where I think it's quite interesting. All these people are here. Take a look around the room, even maybe before your meeting. See who's here. Check out, let's check out, for example, Christian Garcia. Here's his basic profile on the conference. This is the main thing I want everybody to notice, that we always have the trade reputation report of this company. And you can see deals in metals, ash residues, lead. So there's a little bit of information, but that didn't tell you a lot of information. And you want to know a little bit more about Christian, because you might want to schedule a one-on-one call with him or one-on-one meeting. So I'm just going to click this reputation report. A new window is going to open up for me, and it'll be taken straight. So everybody in the conference has access to all the conference attendees' unlocked reports. They're all here. Plus, you also have access to even 100 more of these. So we're going to go after the conference. I'm going to show people how to do more with this. But take a look at what information we have here. The score is great. Anything in the green we think is very good. I do notice that there's no trust reviews on his company yet. Not sure why that is. I do see metal. I see that his materials are listed here. And scrolling down, also look at this. It's very important. Trade feedback. Trade feedback is not here. So tip number one, check these two sections, because we are growing as fast as possible. We don't have all the information. And a lot of people also signed up at the last minute. Like literally, we sold 100 tickets the last 4 days. So, that came out of nowhere. So it takes time for us to populate this, but you should check this and this. And if you don't see any information, this score right here, where's it coming from? It's coming from Dun & Bradstreet information that we have, risk reports that we have access to, blacklist, all of the financial data we can find. That's where that score is being derived from. But we really recommend that if you really want to, this is our best assessment based on the information we have. We highly recommend that you look for companies that have information here and here. So let's go back to the conference. And nonetheless, you saw the materials you trade. He has a great score. You can schedule a meeting with him if you like. Let's see here. Actually, he's to connect me. One moment. Okay, yeah, this is the other thing you have here, where people can connect with you, and you can accept their request or deny. And what happens when you accept their request is essentially you have access to a business card of theirs. And this is a way for you guys to get connected outside of the conference. You can access the attendees list here, and you can do take the same steps. All the attendees are listed here. You'll see the companies as long as we have the company information. You can also access their trade reputation reports here. So here's Adnan, for example. His boss is actually a very good friend of mine. And I'm going to just take a quick look and give you an example of a report that has more information, which I think is important. So score still green, 753. That's great. Trust reviews, I've got 9. 9 professionals in the industry have given a score on this guy. Great, that's positive. 3, anything above 3 is good. 4 is excellent. I see the materials they trade. I see a bit of their trading history. I see their top trading partners. I see that they only have 1 rating in trade feedback. So until they have 5 reviews, this won't count. So this won't go into the score. But then we also analyze shipping data for our scoring. We look for signs of repeat business or companies that are on average doing a lot of new business and not repeat business. We look for things, we assess this information. And as you see here, we have, I don't know how many, transactions, probably 100 or more transactions here. You can look at all the trades, see what they trade as well. So, you're thinking, okay, Adnan looks like a great person, a great company, somebody I want to meet. So I go back over and I would click connect right here. And he's going to get that connection request. So please, don't spam the list, so to speak. Go through, do your homework. All of these profiles are unlocked for all you guys. There's even a tool over on the left. It's not working as good as we like, but it's our first conference, and I promise you it will be better. But you can at least look by area to say, I know I'm looking for a company in the UK. Here are all my UK folks, for example. You can also, say that you're looking for aluminum. So click aluminum, and well, so as you see here, we don't have anybody that has filled out the aluminum in their profile, but I promise you there are quite a number of aluminum folks in the room or in this conference. So so that's how I would say use it. One last very important tip, and this is it, and I'll wrap it up. Going back to the conference page, my conference page. You will have received an email if you have a full access ticket. So the features I've just described with roundtables and with one-on-ones are for full access ticket members. So you're able to get this. You can still upgrade. There's still 50-euro tickets available, if I'm not mistaken. So you can access those on the Eventbrite page and upgrade. In fact, here's the link right here. But last thing I want to tell you about, you received an email that looks something like this. It says in the subject line, urgent, just if that's probably the easiest way to search for it. Your name, urgent, we need your availability for one-on-ones. All of the folks that have the full access ticket, highly recommend that you set up at least an hour or 2 each day to allow people to approach you. You click here to this link and you will be given a very simple form. Please do that right after this meeting. Go in, find this email. If you don't have it, let us know. We'll send it again. Select some time slots that you want to have one-on-ones. As you can see, on day 1, we have 3 time slots. On day 2, we have 2 time slots. And when you're selecting a time slot, what you're doing is you're saying you're available for this hour, but the meetings, the one-on-one meetings are 20 minutes in length. So we're trying to be very efficient. It's more about getting to know the person that just get an initial introduction. That's what it's all about. And after you've had that initial 20-minute call, immediately the next call starts. It's automatic. There's a countdown timer. So within 1 hour, you can meet 3 people and walk away with potentially 2 of those to be new trading partners. And as a host of a one-on-one, another important thing, you're able to decide who you're going to speak with. So they can book they can say, I want to speak to you in this time slot. Our system takes care of whose time slots are filled, who has 1 meeting, who has 2 meetings. So that's all organized for you. You will get a request via email asking you if you want to have a call or a chat with this person. They will have, for example, you can see here when you fill out the roundtable, you can see what he's put in here. Do you want to sell U.S. non-ferrous, copper, aluminum, metal scrap? We have a facility in China, Malaysia. Okay, if that's your thing, I would click that, and you would ask him for a time slot. He then looks at your profile, decides if he wants to meet with you, accepts or denies. It works the other way around. If you set these up yourself, you're in control. So please do that for sure today, and then you guys will get the most value out of this. And we're going to continue even after the conference is over. We're going to work with you guys. We're all about making these connections. That's what we're all about. I see one last question that popped up here, so let me just exit and see if maybe Ashish has got his microphone fixed. Ashish, it looks like your microphone is not working. Okay, no, there it is. Okay, just a moment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
See
great.
the reason.
Yeah,
Just another,
if you could speak up just a little bit so we can hear you, but yes, I hear you. Go ahead.
yeah, there's just another question which just popped up because everyone's from the recycling industry has been here. So we, just wanted to check. I mean, what is a collective effort which everyone can do with, while dealing with the shipping lines? Because of late, I have observed they've increased a lot of prices, and then the schedules have been rescheduled last moment, which really causes a lot of problems between,
Yeah.
the buyers and the sellers. So this is one very prominent problem which I hope all of us are facing. So is there anything which can be done collectively through the platform, or by off platform? I mean, this is what I really want to
Okay.
talk about.
Ashish, thank you very much for your question. I know what you mean. I have been there. It's nothing more frustrating when you've got a contract delivery date, maximum deliver by date, and then you get your containers rolled, and you bust your rear end just to try to get those containers in on time, and they roll your booking 1 week or 2 weeks. You have no say in that. All you can do is apologize to the buyer, but it's a problem for the buyer because maybe the market's coming down and he's now getting material that he paid for. Also he needed the stock, right? He needs the stock on time because he's trying to make a product. He's got orders, right? And now suddenly the stock's not coming in any order because of the shipping agency. So you asked me what solutions and what things can we offer? And I'm going to say, first of all, you definitely, if you want to know what's coming in the shipping world, please attend the 2 keynote presentations about shipping. One of them is today. It's Kim Cockrell from NYSHEX. That's a very exciting company. They basically have gone about kind of reinventing the way that we as traders, brokers, buyers, sellers work with shipping lines. And also, it's a two-way street. We give them something, they give us something back. They give us reliability, under a contractual basis. So she's got a very interesting solution. So definitely listen to her talk, and we are discussing with them about a way that we can integrate their system into our system. So that's the answer to the second part of your question. But then also the other talk is by Anupa Pranam, and she's from C-Link. That talk is tomorrow. I would definitely definitely check that one out as well, and you'll have the latest info there.
Sure. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. There are people still on the call. There is another roundtable that's starting right now. So if you're in that roundtable, definitely hop off. I do see, looks like, let's see if we see anything else here. More questions? No, I think that's it. Okay, I think everybody, if there are any more questions, just raise your hand, but it looks like we're done. Yeah, okay. All right, everyone, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, and we're here to help you guys. So please let us know what we can do to help you guys, and also please help us by providing trade feedback and reviews. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.